too often as public relations people, we sometimes look to leaders that have shown some kind of great PR talent as people who somehow have vice president of public relations or of communications on their business card or on their title. In my lifetime, the best example of leadership I've ever seen in public relations was President Ronald Reagan. You know, and it could have been just the age I was at the time. You know, I was just out of college, or last year or so of college, and we had been through the Jimmy Carter years, and none of this that I'm talking about has anything to do with politics. It has to do with time and place. And in that time and place, it was a very depressing. You know, we'd had hostages that had been held for well over a year by Iranians. The interest rates were 18%. I mean, it was just a depressing time. And you had Ronald Reagan, who was a former actor, who had been spokesperson to raise money for war efforts, who had done a lot of his career, had been in front of a camera. And to me, he knew how to use it better than anybody. And so, you know, the first day he took office, you saw him. And he had said, you know, it's been 444 days that we've had our men and women hostage. From the time I say, so help me God, if they aren't let go, then I'm coming and I'm bringing hell with me. And before he got off that platform, the hostages had been let go. And so for the first time in a long time, people were inspired. And his yes was his yes, his no was his no. And then to see into his presidency when the space shuttle, the Challenger, blew up 70 seconds into the sky. And the first time there'd ever been a civilian, a female, a teacher, on that space shuttle. And just to see the look on people's faces. And again, this was before there were 40 channels to get your news from. This was when people still tuned in at night to see what the news of the day was. And so to turn into our president, who in less than 5 minutes gave the nation great comfort. And I don't remember exactly, but pretty closely at the end of his speech, you know, he says something to the effect, we'll never forget the last time we saw them this morning as they prepared and they waved and smiled and they left the surly bonds of this earth to touch the face of God. I mean, I'm 20-something years old, but I listen to him and I cry. He had given the nation comfort. And then to just a few 18 months or whatever later, to stand with the second most powerful man in the world in his backyard and look straight into the camera and know what he was doing when he said, Mr. Gorbachev, tear down this wall. He knew that he was going around the media, he was going around elected officials, he was going straight to the people. So to me, he probably had the best sense of PR. You know, people forget that whole Challenger event happened on the day of his State of the Union address, which he didn't give. But you can imagine what went into preparation for that and how quickly they had to turn that kind of speech to comfort a nation. And so his public relations skills, I think the ability to listen to people who gave him good direction was probably from a historical standpoint, the most influential figure of my lifetime.